register to vote after the ceremony. Please take off your hats, silence your cell phones. You can get a passport. We'll be here for questions. Sorry, we're running a little late. Trying to hurry, but the most important thing is if you have a child under the age of 18 who lives with you and who is a lawful permanent resident, they become a citizen today when you do. There's two ways to prove that they are a citizen. One is to apply for a passport. The other is to apply for a certificate of citizenship. Passport's faster and less expensive, but the certificate of citizenship never expires. And it is not required, but it's something to consider. I think that's about it. Again, if you have any questions, any concerns, please stop by. We'll be here after the ceremony. Thank you so much for your patience today. We were a little, like I am right now, a little rattled. This is about a little, but we appreciate your patience and congratulations to you all.
All rise. The United States District Court in and for the Southern District of Illinois is met. Pursuant to adjournment, the Honorable Stephen P. McLean presiding. All persons having business before this court, draw near, give attention, and you shall be heard. God save this United States of America and this honorable court.
Please be seated. At this point, we will have the presentation of colors by the Polish America War veterans and the Rise from the Star Spangled Banner, played by sung by the choir and fellow.
Shoulder arms. Forward march.
You may be seated. Good morning. Very nice to be done. I'm Judge Cesan. It's my great honor to preside over this ceremony and parade, whatever this thing is. I want to introduce to you the people who are on the stage here, our dignitaries. Judge David Dugan, United States Supreme Court Judge, Magistrate Judge Mark Beatty, Magistrate Judge Judge Cesan, Bankruptcy Judge Mary Lopino. My left, Alice Summers, who is the acting United States Attorney, Thomas Galbraith, the Chief Deputy United States District Court, U.S. Marshal David Davis. I also thought they did up front, but I'm sure they're busy, but you all know Katie Warner, who is the Chairman of the Social Security Department, and Andre Gannon, Principal of Valvoline. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for hosting this. Katie and Andre did a great job pulling this together for us. Why is this an official court session? Why are judges candidates? Why isn't it a governor or a president or a senator or a congressman or a legislator? It's because of the role of the court, the judges, to each of you, and to what you are going to become today. We judges take a very solemn oath. We don't make campaign promises. We take a very solemn oath. And our oath is to you, to each of you. Greatness in the United States is that the citizen is at the top of the food chain. Government exists to serve you. You have rights that are innate. That means they can't be voted away, they can't be taken from you. And it's we, the judiciary, that you will appear but be served by when your rights are challenged or you need your interests vindicated. We take a solemn oath to you, just as you are candidates today here to take a solemn oath in this great country of ours. This time I'd like to introduce Alice Summers, Assistant United States Attorney, with respect to the candidates who will.
Good morning. My name is Alice Summers, and on behalf of the Department of Homeland Security and the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, I am pleased to present to the court 85 candidates from 34 countries for naturalization, whose applications have been approved by the Attorney General of the United States. I respectfully request that the court administer the oath of allegiance to these candidates for naturalization.
Ms. Summers, has it been shown to the satisfaction of the Department of Justice that these applicants have resided in the United States during the period required by the acts of Congress, and that during all these periods, it have been and still are persons of good moral character, attached to the principles of the Constitution of the United States, and disposed to the good order of happiness in the United States?
On behalf of the Department of Justice, I am authorized to say that showing has been made.
Thank you. All right, we have 85 new citizens, about to be new citizens, from 34 different countries. I'm going to call upon two of my colleagues whose families are one from Mexico, and we have many candidates from Mexico, Judge Cesan, first generation Philippines. So at this time, I call upon United States District Judge David Dugan to make some remarks.
Judge McGlynn. Morning, everyone. It's so good to see so many American flags. Who has one? Very good. Well, welcome. It's certainly my special honor and actually a privilege for me to be here today and to welcome all of you. I just want to say a few words, a little bit of historical context initially, and then I want to tell you a little story. It'll be short, but I want to tell you that I'm a bit of a historian. I know Judge Cesan is quite the historian as well, but I've always been somewhat in admiration of those men and women back in 1780 who decided to put together this experiment. And that's what we refer to as experiment. It's a social experiment and also a political experiment. They asked some questions in some writings that they did as whether this country that they were forming in those days could survive. Whether people, just average people on the street, really could govern ourselves. Whether we could have a democratic republic, a democratic and republic representative country that govern themselves and last some remarked it, especially the last 10 or 20 years. But here we are 250 years later and still thriving. It is a delicate and precarious system of government we have. And as new citizens, you're going to be part of this experiment. You're going to have obligations. Some obligations may be very severe, maybe very sacrificial, and certainly will have opportunities that I believe that are unmatched throughout the world. I would encourage you to study American history. It is rich, it is beautiful, there are good and bad things, but I believe that there are many more good things about our country. But particularly benevolent, particularly giving to not just our neighbors, but also to those throughout the world. History shows that we have spent our time, our talent, and our treasure, even our blood, for the benefit of others, not just within this country, throughout the world. And in doing so, we invite more people in this country than any other country in the United States. Any country in the world. In all of the 20th century wars, and there were a number of them, the United States was engaged in many of them, all to come to the aid of another country. Even when we were victorious in those wars, we never asked for a single inch of ground, except enough to bury our dead. We came to save that country. I hope you take pride in being a United States citizen. I hope you take pride in your participation in government as well. Enough history. I do want to tell you a quick story. It's about a man I never knew. I've heard quite a bit about him. And his name was Joseph Cuellar. And he was from a little town in Candela, Mexico. A little dirty, dusty town, beginning of last century, the early 1900s. Poor family, no real chance or opportunity to improve his standard of living or his family's. But he was recruited to come to Texas to work in the fields at a very young age, young teenager. He worked in Texas for a while. Then when he became of age, he was naturalized and went to go over to Tennessee, where he worked in coal mines. Still, he was very impoverished, just as he was in Mexico, but he was an American. In over Tennessee, he met Eva, and over a period of about 15 years, he had 7 children together. They moved to a town not far from him, called Dow, Illinois. A little bitty town, little piece of ground, little house, 2-bedroom house where he had Eva and 7 children. They were still so poor, even though he had jobs in the factory in Oklahoma. But raising 7 children was no easy task. They were so poor that he had to hunt for food at times to put food on the table. I'll tell you that so you can get an idea of the difficulties that he faced. But he loved America. He loved Americans. He loved them because they're all different but all the same. And despite his poverty, he would annually on July the 4th, he'd been saving money throughout the year, pennies and nickels on gold, put in a can in the corner so that he could buy fireworks and candy for the children and invite everybody over to his house on July 4th to celebrate his country, his America, the country he loved. He loved Americans, and he loved America. He loved his opportunities that he had, not just for himself, but for his children. He preached to his children on a regular basis, I'm told, about what benefits, what gift he was given by God to be in America. He loved America because he knew his coming to America would mean a better life for his children and grandchildren, and he was right. And I told you when I started speaking a few moments ago that I welcome each of you here, and it's a special honor to do so. To welcome all 85 new citizens of you to America, to the United States of America. As American citizens, it is a personal honor, it's a personal privilege, because I'm sure that Joe Cuello, as an immigrant from the Suggested and Candelo, Mexico, would never imagine that his grandson today would have the opportunity and privilege as the United States District Court judge to welcome 85 migrants just like him into the United States as American citizens. I would mention my grandfather, Joe Cuello, who died the year I was born. A man I never knew. A man that gave me a great gift, simply made a decision that you all did, and going through the process that all of you have gone through to be United States citizens. It is certainly my hope, my prayer that your decision to become a United States citizen will benefit and bless your children, your grandchildren, whom you will never know, and who will not know you, but bless them in ways that you cannot imagine. May God bless each one of you. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
My privilege now to introduce Judge Bill Cesan. Judge Cesan, you have to hold this close, otherwise.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Can everyone see me? I know I'm a pretty good challenge. I'm thinking people in the back might not be able to see me. I know people in the stands can, so that's good. It's always a challenge for being this short that when you get a podium, it's basically your height. It's a little difficult for people that are here to see you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You 85 individuals are going to essentially be where every American has been before, except for the first group, Native Americans. As John Kennedy said, every American who has lived, with the exception of one group, was either an immigrant himself or herself, or descendant of immigrants. Of course, John Kennedy was the immigrant grandchild of Irish immigrants. And another thing, too, that I think is really unique about, Judge Dugan talked about the American experiment. It is almost 250 years old. I think in 2026, it will be the sesquicentennial of the United States. 250 years that this experiment has lasted on this planet. And a wonderful experiment it has been. Have there been some ups and downs? Of course there has. But it has lasted, and probably because of what it represents. And I also wanted to quote another favorite president of mine. John Kennedy was one of them. Ronald Reagan was also another favorite president of mine. And he related a situation when he left the Oval Office. Someone had sent him a letter. Basically, it said, it was a man who chose to write, and he didn't know who he was, but he said, the man said, you can go to live in France, but you can't be a Frenchman. You can go to live in Germany or Italy, but you can't be German or Italian. You can go to Turkey, Greece, Japan, and other countries, but you're not going to be those nationalities. You know that. But here, anyone from any corner of the world can come to live in the United States and become an American. And that was a wonderful process. Like, it didn't matter where you were from. It didn't matter whether you were tall, short, nationality, religious, ethnicity. It didn't matter. If you came to live here, and you followed the law, you followed the rules, you did things the right way, you absolutely could be an American, which you are standing here today. And so, when I come to these citizenship ceremonies, it reminds me of my own journey. I was fortunate enough to be born here. But St. Louis has a unique, the St. Louis Metro East area has a unique place because this is where my mother and father started. My father was from Bantai, the local sewer, which is in the northern part of Luzon, very small town, and he did medical school in the Philippines, and he wanted to do his residency in the United States, and he came here in 1963. He was a chief resident of the old city hospital in St. Louis. He did his residency in Missouri Baptist, and then my mother, when he switched to my mother, she was from Imus, Cavite. So very close to Manila, and she was a chemist. And so she decided to come to the United States, and the first place where they both decided to live was St. Louis, Missouri. And so they met on a bus. The way the story was told to me, my dad was hungry. My mom had a bag of groceries, and my dad picked off a few grapes from her grocery bag, and that's how it all started. And they met here in St. Louis. They got married in St. Margaret's, Scotland, in South City. Now, I wasn't born here. I wasn't born in St. Louis. They actually moved up north to Philadelphia and Newark, where my dad finished his residency at Alabama Steins, and then I weaved my way back down to Louisiana when my dad served in the Air Force. But basically, when it came time for me to go to law school, I came to Washington University in St. Louis, and sort of a nice way to come around full circle to this, that where my parents started, where I became a judge, and I'm here basically, wishing you good wishes and getting you into the United States as citizens. It's sort of fitting that I'm here today to help you do that. But when I think back at my story, I always think back, I hope you know how rich our history has been with immigrants. And you might not know a couple of these things, but every American knows about the Pilgrims of Landing at Plymouth Rock, but there are a lot of other famous people that you might not have known were immigrants too that contributed to this country. So is there anyone that's coming in from Lebanon or Egypt? Anyone know candidates from Lebanon or Egypt? Okay, well, for example, Nubar Afeyan was born in Lebanon, and then he went to Canada, and then he wound up in the US. He co-founded Moderna, which is one of the big vaccine companies in the world. Ahmed Zawali went from Egypt to the United States. He was the father of something called femtochemistry. I don't know if any of you know that. I'm a lawyer, so I don't know anything about science. But basically, it's a branch of physical chemistry that studies chemical reactions on extremely short timescales, like less than 15 seconds. Anyone here from Taiwan? Anyone that went from Taiwan to the United States? Okay, well, no, Steve Chen went from Taiwan to the United States, and you might know him as one of the co-founders of YouTube. Pretty sure everyone who's used it at some point in their lives, even though I'm a generation that doesn't use it as much as the younger generation here in high school that basically probably goes and looks at YouTube every second of the day like my kids do. But anyway, if you look at the arts, for example, anyone from Colombia? Good, we have one. But did you know that Sofia Vergara was a famous actress that did modern art? She was an immigrant, became a naturalized U.S. citizen from Colombia. Everyone remembers the Jeopardy, right? Anyone from Canada? Anyone going from Canada to the United States? Okay, good. Canada to the United States. Well, famous long-during part of Alex Trebek, Canadian citizen, became a U.S. citizen. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's just the famous ones. Our history is dotted with many unnamed people that which this country was built on. Let me give you one very critical example. For those of you sitting in high school in the audience, you probably should know this from your history class. But the Transcontinental Railroad, the Transcontinental Railroad basically started from the east, started from the west, and they met at Promontory Point, Utah on May 10th, 1869. So from the west, it's basically Chinese immigrants that basically worked and labored on that railroad. From the east, it was the Irish immigrants that basically worked on the railroad until they met. Now, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Irish and Chinese immigrants that will never have their name mentioned in United States history and American history. but their lasting effort of the Transcontinental Railroad goes beyond the test of time. It helped build this country, just like you were going to help build this country. And you know, when I look at my own history, the importance, I still have my parents' 2 naturalization certificates. My father died in 2019, my mother is still alive, but they were both naturalized in 1974 in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I have their certificates in a safe because it is one of the most critical documents that our family owns, probably next to our family Bible. You know, it is that important to me. And my dad instilled in me the notion that he was so grateful for what he had opportunity-wise in this country. What they gave a little small town boy, if you know anything about Bantai Locos, it is a small town. Everybody knows everybody. It's a town of maybe 400, 500 people. And he instilled in me that dedication to service. He served, and because of that, he served in the military, he served, he became a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force. I was never cut out to be in the military, probably because of my size, probably because I wasn't that athletic, and whatnot. But I wanted to serve in some way, and being in the government was one of those things. I actually had dreams of running for office, and then that fell by the wayside. But when I became a lawyer, I wanted to be a judge, and it was so. I feel so blessed that I have that opportunity to serve in that capacity, to serve the United States, to serve citizens like you in that capacity. I wanted to leave you with my own story, and it's a story that I didn't really truly understand until many years after I got old enough to understand it. I've only been back to the Philippines maybe 4 times in my life. The one time I went back in 1981, I was 9 years old. And when we went up to see my grandmother and grandfather in Bantai, I remember I just said something off the cuff like any child does, and I said, "Oh, my dad hates Marcos." And my grandmother told me to shush, do not say that out loud. So I didn't really understand what it was. It really wasn't until I got older until I understood why that was. So if you want me to give you a little bit of history in the Philippines, in 1972, President Marcos declared martial law over the Philippines. And he served until 1986, until he was disposed by Corazon Aquino in the People Power Revolution. And so he ruled the Philippines essentially with an iron fist. And my dad did hate him. He hated him because he loved freedom and he hated him. But he couldn't say it out loud. And it really wasn't until I got older that I understood why my grandmother told me to shush. Because there are countries in this world where you can't do that. There are countries in this world where if you even mention P in opposition to the ruling party, you could be thrown in jail. You could be forcibly disappeared. You could be tortured. That doesn't happen here in the United States. And as a matter of fact, I will illustrate this. You could even die for opposing the government. As a matter of fact, before Corazon Aquino became president, her husband tried to return the Philippines to restore a little bit of democracy to the Philippines. He was assassinated on a tarmac of Manila International Airport when he left the plane. Theory is that bodyguards or the security guards were the ones that shot him and killed him as he fell to the tarmac. And that experiment, that the ability of the Philippines to get into democracy was delayed until his wife was able to come into power in 1986. So when I look at this, ladies and gentlemen, what does it mean to be an American? It isn't living here. It isn't where you're from, because this great experiment includes everybody that's where you're from. It's actually not an idea. It truly is. And what is that idea, ladies and gentlemen? That idea is very simple. It's like we're people held together not by blood or religion or ethnicity, but it's what we believe. So some of you came here because you wanted to escape persecution, escape evil. Some of you came here for better opportunities. And as Condoleezza Rice said, the essence of America, that which really unites us, is not the ethnicity, nationality, or religion. It's an idea that you come from humble beginnings and do great things. And that's what I implore you to do. You don't have to make it in the history books. You don't have to do anything, but you can contribute your own little bit to the fabric of this country. You are now part of the tapestry of this beautiful and wonderful country. And think about it, it is the only country in the world that is attempting to become a multiracial, multi-ethnic democracy that is not racked by civil war, that's not racked by famine. They're trying to do things peacefully. Do we ever get it right all the time? No, we don't. We're trying. And that's part of this beauty of this experiment. And now you are a part of this wonderful experiment. And I hope you will consider that in the context of the history that you're becoming as U.S. citizens, to keep that history going so 250 years from now, there will still be citizenship ceremonies like this, where we're still inviting new Americans to be members of this great country. So anyway, congratulations. I am so thrilled for you. I'm so happy for you. And I wish you the best of luck now in your new lives as U.S. citizens.
Thank you, Judge. I got good news for you. You only have to be this tall to get your citizenship paper today. You only have to be this tall to hand them out. I kid because I love it. Look around, ladies and gentlemen. We have all these students here to help you celebrate. And it's important for them to see how much this country means to you. It's inspiring. And so we're about to take an oath of citizenship, and I call upon Judge Loperno to administer that oath, and then we'll get your papers. So, Judge Loperno.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here because, like many of you, this is my first citizenship ceremony. And it's a beautiful day on a beautiful campus, and this is going to be one of my treasured memories, as I'm sure it's going to be for each of you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to take the oath of allegiance to the United States. This oath has two parts. In the first part, you will absolutely and entirely renounce allegiance to any foreign state or sovereignty. In the second part of the oath, you will swear to support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic. These words are plain. The oath means what it says. I charge you that if any person among you has a different intention in taking the oath, you reveal it now, to the end that the petition for naturalization filed by that person may be withdrawn or dismissed. Okay, will all the candidates please rise? Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations and welcome as citizens of the United States of America.
You may be seated. All right, at this time, I'm going to introduce each one of our new fellow citizens. I'm going to ask the judges to do a step forward. We're going to have 4 judges, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. And I will announce your name, come up. I will hand your citizenship paper to one of these judges who will present them to you. If a family member wants to take a picture of you getting your license, they may do so. And the judges will be around afterward and the other dignitaries to talk with you and brief you. And you can have photos at that time as well. We have 34, we have new citizens from 34 different countries. I've had a chance to talk and meet with each of you. I'm going to try to not mispronounce your names. I'll do the best I can. But you know, I heard a number of stories of our fellow citizens. Some of them were fleeing communism, fleeing tyranny. The last one we did at Collegeville High School, there was a young man from Central Africa, and he was born in like an internment. They had fled a brutal civil war, and all he ever knew was this camp that the UN was kind of helping out with. And he told me that he saw American flags. It was the first time he saw American flags. And his mother said, "We're saved." And the American said, "Look, we're going to clean this up." Took him back to the United States and said it was a great state flag. So, well, welcome. Our first candidate is formerly from the Philippines, Lori Tolentino Pellet. Our second is Yuri Murakovich Dushko from Russia. Lutrin Murali from North Macedonia. Nuafalas Kishashi from Morocco. Jenny Bell Jimenez Yassin. Sagar Yoshibai Patel. Giselle Melissa Reese. Pradip Batari. Petra Waltrud Agnew. Rita Ben Patel. Kishan Patel. Dev Patel. Jacob Fatima. And Jolly Moser. Hugh Nguyen. Nonsuk Kramchak. Vivian Din. Gabriel Fortunato Demoro. Yaminadin Patel Patel. Rachel de Guzman Agden. Caitlin Charity Payne. Iridio Ramirez. Mona Lisa Torres. Debbie Hubbard. And Roger Hubbard. From Africa, South Africa. All right, now I gotta find my cheat sheets on this one. Carla Patricia Avila Villalta. Melvin Wade. South Africa. Zarina Earl. Maria Paz Merrill. Idabedin Patel. Dikshika Patel. Rebecca Livingstone. Keisha Tamara Edwards. Cindy Baker. Yeshua Chan Persina. Yardo Lesbos Shada. Julian Oblazamanga. Nikita Patel. I think we now have 20% of the hotels. Calvin Forrester. Mohammed Al-Sari. Gopal Kimba. By way of Michaela King. Juan Carlos Tavar. George Genevieve Martinez. Gabriel Maciel. Dong M. McGee. T.D. Nyong. Claire Ann Louise Porter. Manakinaben Patel. Pranima Sharma. Eduardo Ferrari. Eduardo, you're tall enough to take pictures. Rafael Rodriguez de Villa. Araceli Hernandez Shorto. Jesus Hernandez Roca. Ajit Kumar Panchal. Sarojban Patel. Bianca Antonella Rodriguez Diaz. Linda Ann Vale. Asil Ahmed. Emma Esmeralda Sanchez Navarro. Stephanie Cooper. Amiel Felicia. Sudhaben Patel. Eva Sakota. Davika Morris. Leonard Virtue. Jiwan Wang. Kemi Awasile. Mayatan Lee. Maria Luisa Barker. Margaret Miller. Abdullah Lima. Jamali Hamida. Danville Sewell. Ana Maria Manzano Lopez. Efrain Gonzalez. Mona Patel. Chu Yan Lee. Esinanan Awadi. Sudhaban Patel. Udamar Lazaro Dominguez Lopez. Smita Owens. Ahmad No. Samed Jamal Ahmed. Deborah Hunt. And Unico Burger. Thank you. Look, we've had, in this group, we've had people from Japan, Brazil, Nepal, Vietnam, India, Congo, Cameroon. Oh, which one? Apparently your certificate is a work in progress. Oh, it was a little wrong, but Hey, Deborah. Judges can fix that one mistake. All right. Who we got? Was there a mistake on them? Some have petitions for name changes that I haven't figured out, but I know you're on my list. The only one I have. Looks like you. Will you back up and all right, that's all of our candidates. As I was saying, we have people coming from Nigeria, from the West Bank, from Colombia, Mexico, Togo, China, United Kingdom, Germany. And you see our little dinosaur friend over here. All the way from the Paleozoic era to be with us today. All right, Justice, will you return to the stage? It's my honor to call upon the United States Marshal, David Davis, to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Congratulations to everyone again. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, at this time I want to introduce you again to the choirs of Belleville East, to be seated, who want to pay tribute to our new fellow citizens. great transition to that song, Stars and Stripes Forever. How about another round of applause for our band and our superstars? All right, in your program it says the recognition of dignitaries. I have some people I want to thank, but we also have one more dignitary who hasn't got a certificate yet, and that is Julia Lee. I told you we get down here. Thank you. Apparently one a jet lag from the trip from the Bailey's Yard. All right. We also want to thank Director Mark Tessero, who's the director of the band and the wind instrument. Dr. Andrew Powell, who's the director of the Bella East Choir. We want to thank our Polish American War Veteran Color Guard. My important Deputy Jackie Muckenstern. Our big reporter, who is the head of that council. Christine Rankin from the United States District Court Office was really the go-to person on this. Much we couldn't have done without her, Christine. Andy Halpern, who is a proud graduate of Bella East. Jessica Robertson, just the U.S. District Court. And much legal video. We get the video there. There you are. I'm sorry to say I have a face for radio, but you can buy a version of it. You can buy a version of this, I guess, for the money of the videos. And thanks very much to the Daughters of the American Revolution, who are here to take that part, as well as the Women Leader Voters. And they are here, if you have not registered to vote yet, they will be around afterwards to available to register you to vote. Some of you had a petition to change your name, and I have a document up here. And so if you, in filling out your paperwork, if you also asked to have your name changed, I have a form for you up here that I'd like for you to come up and get. And again, the reason that this is not a political event. It is a matter of judiciary because of the importance of the rule of law and the importance of you not being looked at as political partisans or one thing or another, but as a fellow American citizen. And it's our great honor in the judiciary to serve you on behalf of my fellow judges. We pledge to you that we will treat you fair, and we are proud to be able to uphold the rights of each and every individual in the United States. And with that, Jackie.
There being no further business of the court is adjourned.
The bad news is you got to go back to class. The judges will stick around if you want to vote on